Hey guys, King Charmanders here, aka Hikaru, and this is my Ultra League guide, or rather, just kind of like what to expect for Season 2. So, Ultra League is going to be pretty immersive. There's a lot of new things that came out here, for example, moveset changes, you got some new Pokemon available, and even Shadow Pokemon. Now, I'm going to talk a lot on this video. So if you saw the intro page or the table of contents, if you're already a seasoned battler, like you already you played preseason in season 1, you did well, you made rank 10 last season, you don't have to really watch the third portion of this video where I explain the PV poke chart with the starter pack. You kind of already have an idea what you want to run, and you've already kind of seen what the meta is like, and patterns, and how painful Ultra League is. But if you are watching this, you don't have to watch the starter pack side. Skip straight to my analysis, and it goes straight to the bread and butter of what I think about this meta and my analysis on it. For those of you that don't know, I'm the Blissey King of Ultra League. I'm the guy that invented the timeout strategy. I also invented the Blissey Beams 100% win condition strat. So I made Ultra League a lot of fun, but I'm also a technician in Ultra League and well as Master League. These are the two leagues where I really shine and where I've created my name and where I became famous for my strategies. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you guys already have played season 1 or the preseason, you can skip part 3, which is, I think it's part 3, which is the starter pack analysis or like beginner's guide, and then you can skip straight to the PV poke analysis. All right, let's get started. All right, a short review on the PV Poke infograph. As you see the bargain bin over here, I'm going to first have you look at that. If you are new to Ultra League and you don't have the starters for Mons, if you are watching this video and you already are in Ultra League, you could probably skip this part. This is just for like newer players, or like if you're just generally confused at like how my team building madness kind of goes together when it comes to Ultra League. I look at this first, like y'all should donate to PvPoke's Patreon because this comes out on his Patreon. He also does this. He also releases on his Twitter. So make sure you follow Matt Sama. He has all these amazing infographics and resources available for you guys as long as you are following his content and social media. So here is the bargain bin. I'm going to point to that first. These picks are still very strong. In season 1, you noticed that you saw a lot of Empoleons, you saw a lot of Gyarados, you probably saw a lot of Togekisses and Venusaurs, just because those are still really good picks. With the meta that's out right now, I'll dive more into that when I do the PV Poke live analysis, but for those of you that want to, these are very cheap picks. It only costs 10,000 Stardust to power up Venusaur, not power up, to second move Venusaur for Alligator and Gyarados, and even Typhlosion. So there's a lot of great picks on that bargain bin. As you see, the premier picks for those of you that actually have grinded out, rated, and did a lot of grinding before this came out, or you had these prepped for Season 1, these are still really great picks. As you see, it's kind of a surprise, but you see Giratina Origins on there. Because of Crystalia's release, Giratina Origins is actually still a great bond. Ominous Wind still gives you boost capability, even though it's not boost, even though if you fail at the boost, and the fact that it got nerfed. So it's not necessarily bad. Swampert, of course, is Swampert. Great closer, great overall mod, just because it fires off charge moves so incredibly quickly. Same thing Alolan Muck, great save switch, has a lot of coverage, charges fast, and fires. The king of Ultra League, or the strategy of Ultra League, is bulky mons that do a whole lot of damage in a quick succession. Of course, there are still the fast move strats you can do because fast move strats are still very viable. Just like the Togekiss right there, Togekiss with Charm is still very powerful. But like I said, the premier picks are still very, very good. You can expect to see Regitina core. It's still a good core. Regitina is still a great core. Unfortunately, as much as we hate it, I hate Regitina too, but the Regitina core is still very good. But more on that on PvPoke analysis. Again, here's the example teams, here's premier picks, bargain bin. Always look at this before you consider looking at a team, because it gives you a little bit of an insight of what you might actually see on the meta, which I'm going to cover right now. All right, here's my PvPoke analysis. So you see right here, I always start from the home page, but Ultra League, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be kind of a mess. Some of the things you want to look out for is that, there's so many things you have to look out for. All right, let's get started. So we're going to dive deep into the rankings. Ultra League. Now, overall, Cresselia, how many of you are not surprised? Well, it's... I'm not surprised at all, actually, because Cresselia's... You'll see in the X Factors review on the next portion of this video, just the things you have to look out for and the reasons why. Cresselia's Moonblast getting buffed means it has a lot of play here. That chance... It charges fast with Psycho Cut, and if you get that debuff, it is incredibly dangerous. As you see the overall play here, the BBML is definitely that top three. The Cresselia, Giratina, Altered, and Swampert. Any of the... Actually, you could count BBML as probably the top five, because Regitina, like I said before on the starter pack, is still very viable. Unfortunately, because like I said, shadows are available now. That's why Shadow Swampert is second. If you watch Shadow Swampert, here's regular Swampert. So you have great matchups against Giratina Altered, but that's assuming you are able to Earthquake him. Earthquake is the reason why Giratina Altered loses to Swampert. Alolan Muck, obviously, Earthquake does heavy damage. It will do heavy damage against Alolan Muck, and Hydrocanton still chunk a lot. Registeel, Charizard, Snorlax. Swampert is a great pick. But here's the interesting part. So that's regular Swampert. Now, the reason why I'm diving so quick here is because I want you to see just how shadows are affecting the game. You'll see X factors, but like here's why Shadow Swampert jumps from 4 to 2. Look at that. You have a stronger matchup against Alolan Muck. You have an incredible matchup against Registeel, against Charizard, against Snorlax, against Cresselia. Because of the additional... See how it covers so much? Cresselia is... It has a stronger matchup against... The stronger matchup against Registeel matters a lot, because Registeel is going to be very prominent. I can see it be very prominent. And then you see how it does a lot of damage against Cresselia. It's literally on the chart, the infograph. So let's do a little analysis on Shadow Swampert. Now, Shadows, I just wanted to like put a little highlight on Shadows, because Shadows, if you have them, can do a lot. So here's Shadow Swampert's analysis. 77% in all one-shield scenarios. That's all really freaking good. If you've watched my previous videos, you know I only take 60% plus. And in the one-shields, what more can you ask for? After that, so let's analyze the two-shield. Two-shield with Shadow Swampert. Swampert is bulky, can do a lot of damage. And a two-shield, Swampert retained its ability. Let's generate again. 77.5%. That's still incredibly strong. So in a two-shield scenario, you're over 70%. In a one-shield scenario, you're above 70%. How about no shields? Now, obviously, like I keep saying, disclaimer, IVs do matter. So you can have that one IV in a dream scenario, but it's really, you're still going to look at this. And in zero shield scenarios, you still get 75%. The Swampert is so good compared to the original variant. So if you switch over to regular Swampert, regular Swampert does better in no shield scenarios. This is because of the bulk that regular Swampert provides. It also consistently does well in the one shields and the two shields. Actually, it does even better in the two shield scenario. But like I said, how bulk is king. Shadows, you have a lot of options here. The reason why I'm highlighting Swampert first is because Swampert Shadow, Swampert Regular, there's a lot of play with Swampert here. Now, because of that, you're probably going to see grass a lot. I can tell you right now, you're probably going to see a lot of grass types, because Swampert is just so dominant, especially in the newer meta. Let me just show you, like, you'll see this in the X Factors, but as you see, that's just Swampert overall. The danger about Ultra League Mons is that Ultra League Mons are bulkier than Great League Mons. Not only that, you also have to be worried about the fact that you thought Great League shifted, Ultra League shifted too. Like, just like how Shadows, like how I'm showing you right here, how Shadows affected Great League, it also heavily affected Ultra League. So let's go back to the rankings. Let's analyze your leads. Your leads for Ultra League will probably be... Oh, wait, no, that's Great League. Switch over here, and then there you go. Your leads are... Cresselia is just so good. Like I said, the Moonblast buff made it a really very strong. Very strong. Giratina Origins is also a strong lead because of Cresselia, and the fact that it also does really great against Registeel. It does great against Swampert, Venusaur, Charizard. Now, you gotta be careful, because you can get walled. If you decide to use the Giratina Origins, it's Ultra League cousin. Just be very aware that the number one moveset is double walled against normal types. So if you see a Snorlax or if you see a Licky Licky, that's gonna be bad. So anyways, yeah, for leads, I can definitely see Cresselia, Giratina O. Actually, all these are viable. You guard like Gardevoir, Shadow Gardevoir, and Shadow Hitmonchan are scary. As you see these leads, obviously they're subject to change for like concentration and whatnot, but this is, like I said, the reason why I praise PvP so much, because how many of you have seen, even if you're an experienced player watching this video, how many of you have actually seen like PvP poke? Like PvP poke can be wrong sometimes, but a majority of the time, it's pretty on the money. Like, I can, even from my own analysis, like, the reason why I was able to break that Master League core of Hydreigon, using Hydreigon, was because I used PvP Poke's #1 leads. If you take a look at Master League, and you go at leads, put in the Hydreigon, you get number 54. Now, that's assuming with Dragon Pulse. Now, I run Flash Cannon on mine, just a little insight of that, how number 54, the reason why I'm highlighting this too is because you don't have to pick the top 10 leads. In fact, my lead isn't going to really be a top 10 lead. It's actually going to be much different. But as you see, you can use different leads, and different leads will allow you to crush the competition. It's all up to your creation, all up to your own perspective. But like I said, the top 10 you see right here as far as leads is going to be very prominent. Now we keep going down the list. You still see a lot of familiar other things like Giratina Altered, Mewtwo, etc. Now we're going to go in and we're going to go into the switches. As far as your switches go, dang, that's all I have to say. So, for switches, like, Cresselia is just a monster in this Ultra League meta. It's bulky, it has a lot of use, and it's just such a great mon. Look at that. Look at those matchups, and look at that as a safe switch. Even if you switch into a Giratina A, you still have a strong matchup. Poliwrath, which was very popular in breaking the Regitina core last season, is going to make its grand return, and as you see, Cresselia takes care of a lot of it. Cresselia takes care of a lot of matchups that you see from Season 1, and you could definitely see in Season 2. Now, the reason why I say that is because in Season 1, you found the team that was good if you climbed in Ultra League like I did. If you found that, you're probably not going to... Don't break it. But, like I said, if you do your research and you look, a lot of the common picks you saw from before are coming back. And now on my X Factors section, which you're going to see on the next section of this video, is going to point that all out and highlight all the things you probably should watch out for and just what's different. I'm highlighting Cresselia so much, like, Cresselia will be on there. Cresselia's just so good. Cresselia, Giratina A, and also, where's that Amok? Alola Muck is also a great safe switch. Still a great safe switch from before. But as you see, Alola Muck as a safe switch starts at number 34, so... Like I said, remember what I was talking about, like, top 1 through 10 isn't necessarily what might be right for your team. You can use the top Pokemon as much as you want. Top switches don't have to be the top 10, but they're pretty dang good. I don't think I ever saw Shoddy Poliwhirl and Politoed in my life, but as you hear, Shadow Zapdos is still very strong very, very strong as a safe switch. Poliwrath, Swampert, the Swampert. I keep highlighting Swampert, Registeel. Anything that does great against Registeel or Poliwrath, you want, that is going to be rated very high. And the reason why Gear Altered is just rated so high is because it walls all of the starters. It even has a great matchup against Poliwrath. Even though Poliwrath has Ice Punch, it has a strong matchup because Dragon Claws, and it outpaces Poliwrath. So you're going to see... Who the heck has its focus? Anyways, yeah, you're going to see Giratina A a lot still. Cresselia, you can expect to see, I can tell you right now, you can expect to see these top 5 a lot. Maybe not this much, but 1, 2, and 3 you can expect to see as a safe switch. And you can definitely, yeah, expect to see 1, 2, 3 as a safe switch a lot. And probably Alola Mucks are going to come back. And now your closers, I always like doing the closers. Cresselia is still one of the best closers because it's just that good. Now the thing about Cresselia, I'm going to highlight this in like, kind of like my secrets, or like just like, kind of like highlights, or like X Factors you should probably look out for in the next one. I keep saying that. Now for your closers, Cresselia is really good. Psycho Cut, Future Sight, Moonblast. Like I said, the buff to Moonblast bumps Cresselia up to the #1 spot. So Swampert, as you see here, for Swampert. Swampert, like I said, and how I was hailing it as a great closer, here you go. It's a great closer still. Because it does so much damage and it charges very, very quickly as a closer. Now, if you look, the Shadow version takes a drop in this section, but it's still incredibly effective. Obviously, you still have Registeel and Alolan Muck as your closer. Alolan Muck probably like as a closer is definitely good because it counters a lot of the top picks. If you look Giratina Altered, if you see in the back, it's good. If you get the Venusaur Cresselia, since Cresselia is great across the map, Dark types do great against it. But this is your right here. I can't really say much about closers because closers are just so. The thing about closers is that in Ultra League, your match is really like, I'm not saying this is the whole scenario, but from what I've observed, Ultra League, like I said before, because Ultra League mons are so bulky, the leads in closers, it's very easy in Ultra League to preserve your mons and to be able to run your timer as a clock. So as you see, even though I'm showing you these closer matchups right here, if you need to be aware of your player skill, because even if you try to close out, there's a lot of scenarios where you can create sack shield scenarios. These are more advanced techniques. I will be making video. If you haven't watched my video on advanced techniques, I'll be making one. But just to put this out there, like as far as closing out goes, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of factors that will come out to a close. Because as you see here, the best Pokemon with no shields in play bulk or hard many moves while in the closeout matchups. In a lot of scenarios, especially at the higher elos, you will probably see a lot of preserving shields and energy and just a whole bunch of bulkiness. So be very careful of what you choose as your closers, because if you notice here, let me just use Cresselia as an example. Cresselia's top counters, it doesn't have a lot. So if you end up against a Cresselia, you're in trouble for the most part. Same thing with Swamperts as a closer. Swampert's only really, really countered by grass. So depending on how you the way you build your team, the way your player skill level is going to matter a lot when it comes to your closer choice in Ultra League. Anyways, let's get to the XFactor analysis. I'm sorry I talked so much about this one, but I just really want you to see just how, even though I'm showing you the way I'm looking at PvP right now, Ultra's gonna be rough. Alright, so if you look to my left, this is the XFactor section. This is where I told you to skip to if you are looking for I already know how to play Ultra League, I already got mods. Alright, so here's the dive analysis into it. Now, the X factors you want to look out for is definitely moveset buffs, and that includes Moonblast and Drill Run. Because of that, if you look at Cresselia has literally taken over this entire list at number 1 because of the Moonblast buffed. You can run Grass Knot. If you do happen to run Grass Knot, you actually do have a lot of strong matchups, particularly towards Swampert and Poliwrath. But if you just look at its evolution as a lead, as a closer, as a switch, as an attacker, it is at 100 rating, as in it's really freaking good. Cresselia is definitely going to rock the meta. I would definitely look out for it in every scenario. I would look out for it because it does so good. It does so good at the former meta, other than Registeel, but Registeel is Registeel. But I can tell you right now, I can't stress enough for Cresselia. That's the Moonblast buff. Second of all, Drill Run. Now, why is Drill Run such a kind of concern? Excavalier. Because of Drill Run, Excavalier's worth has gone up because of its movesets. Look at its matchups. It does great against Swampert, Alolan Muck, Registeel, Venusaur, and Snorlax. You're still going to see a lot of Registeel, Swampert, Alolan Marowak. However, Drill Run has a lot more play because, like I said, Excavalier. It's a very anti-meta pick. Registeel Gira Core, the Registeel Gira, we all hate it. Or the Regitina Core, as it's called. We all hate it. So you're going to see a lot of Regis. You're going to see a lot of Giratinas. So Excavalier is going to have a play in this meta because of Drill Run. Remember, like I said before, just because a pick is 1 through 10 doesn't necessarily mean it's a very strong pick. That core. This is individual rankings. If you put a team together, you can take on anything, just like I've proven in Season 1. But like I said, look out for Excavalier to make an impact in Season 2 Ultra League. Now for Shadows. Shadow. Shadow, Shadow, Shadow. If you have these mons, and you are brave enough to Elite TM them, I wouldn't be opposed to it, actually. If you look, Shadows make up really... Shadows are really good, especially Shadow Swampert. Shadow Swampert does a lot of damage because Hydro Cannon charges so fast because of Mud Shop, and Earthquake chunks. And its only counters are Tropius Torterra, Ludico Leviantor, and Shadow Torterra. Those are all... What's the difference? Those are all grass Pokemon. Or have grass elements to them, as you see Ludico goes number 3. But I can expect to see a lot of you can expect to see Swampert rise again. It was very prominent in season 1, but in season 2 I expect to see it again. But like I said, just shadows overall. Shadows. Shadows are very powerful. But as you see, for Ultra League, a lot of them, in order a lot of them to be really consistent, you have to spend your Elite TM. So if you don't have the resources, I wouldn't spend your Elite TM to give you Shadows. Shadows will give you an advantage, but like I said, if you don't do your homework, it doesn't matter if you have a Shadow or not. You'll sacrifice, like if you look up Swampert, let me give you an example for Swampert. For example, Swampert's a great topic for Shadow. Now, you do drop overall, but if you look at the lead in the closer scenarios, like Shadows, Swampert, and regular Swampert kind of flip around for rankings. They kind of flip around from 2 to 4s. Shadow Swampert is obviously a better safe switch, but as you see, like they kind of like flip around a lot. But if you look at Shadow Swampert versus regular Swampert, you're strong against certain matchups, but watch this. It's not much of a titanical difference if you take a look at it. There really isn't much of a huge difference. With Swampert, you have the stronger Giratina Alter matchup, but the reason being is because like Shadow Swampert gives up your bulk. A better analysis to do this would definitely be using multi-battle, so we're going to go here and use multi-battle. Like I said, you can use Shadows, but do your research. Be very comfortable because Elite TMs are incredibly rare, and you may or may not waste your Elite TM, or feel like you did, because like I said, would you change it? I still have mine, so I might, but it's up to you. So let's see. Regular Swampert for Shadow for Ultra League still wins at 77%. And then if you switch to regular Swampert in all shield scenarios, it actually does better. Not by very much, but like I said, run your sims, know what to do, know how to approach. A good one to look at right now would probably be Cresselia, and then we'll move on to Shiftry. So here's Cresselia, the one shield. And the one shield, it does 83%. It's like the Deoxys D of Ultra League, if I had to compare it a lot. That's what Cresselia is for Ultra League this season. Now let's look in the 2 shield scenario. Right here. And then you get an even better matchup. 95%. It is so good. Which is insanity. And the 2 shields, Cresselia is madness. That's why it's so overpowered. Like, I don't need to tell you that's an incredibly high rating. Now, if you give it Grass Knot, and then we switch the scenario around, it's still incredibly strong. So people have been asking me, hey, do you run Grass Knot Moonblast or Grass Knot Future Sight? I would run Grass Knot Moonblast because you get the buff ability, and with Grass Knot, let me show you. First, let me show you the whole thing with Future Sight. If you run Future Sight Grass Knot, it's not much of a change, but definitely the weakest moveset out of if you had Grass Knot and Moonblast. But in the battle sim, and you see Grass Knot, so you have Cresselia, and then you have Swampert. Now this is where it kind of goes into Shiftry. Shiftry is a grass that has dark and grass elements, so it's very strong. So if you see Cresselia will beat by just going straight Grass Knot, because Grass Knot takes less energy to use than Moonblast. If you went just straight Moonblast and you try to get the debuff, Cresselia would still win, but would be heavily dependent on whether or not your opponent falls for the bait and whether or not you get the debuffs. But it's up to you. Like I said, Grass Knot does have a lot of coverage. Grass Knot, Poliwrath, it gives, like, you really kind of don't need it against Poliwrath, but like just to put it out there, like, it's very viable. Grass Knot also requires less energy than a Future Sight, so if you add your Future Sight, one more Grass Knot. So not too much of a huge titanical difference, but like I said, both movesets are available for Cresselia, so you can use both. You can use Grass Knot, any combination will work. I wouldn't recommend Future Sight. I would recommend Moonblast and Grass Knot. Now for Shiftry. Now we're going to analyze Shiftry. This is the last part of this. But like I said, these are the X factors you should look out for. Excavalier, Cresselia, Shadows, and maybe Shiftry. Because I've played around, like I said, I played around with Shiftry a little bit. So let's do Shiftry. Shiftry in the twos. In the twos, you get the Shiftry. And then you get... It's not ideally great, but like I said, it just really depends on like how you... When we analyze the meta, that's a two-shield scenario, but when the meta is all said and done, like when it finally comes out, as you see in the one shield, it does very well in the one shield. So like I said, Shiftry can be a pick. But you kind of need a perfect and at best buddies. Watch. So here's the one shield. Here's the 2-to-1s on. Here's the 2-to-1s. Let's do the one shield scenario. With shield advantage, Shiftry is very strong. The one shield scenario, 55%. But like I said, you dark and grass can cover. So it's something I've been thinking about. If you go to level 41, which a lot of you probably didn't take the time to do. There's the level 41 for Shiftry. You don't get much of an increase. So a lot of people have asked, some people have been asking me, is Shiftry good? It can be. It can. But it's up to you. It's really that's really up to you. In my opinion, not really. I mean, the results speak for itself. Like as far as something that should be a must in a team, Cresselia is like king in all scenarios. So, like I said again, it's up to you. But like I said, these are the 3 things you should look out for. Such a strong mod, at least for Cresselia, and in even shield scenarios and everything. With the 2-to-1s, like I told you, it has a 95% chance of winning. So if Cresselia has shield advantage, whew, it's a monster. Alright, so now I'm going to tell you about what I think the meta is. So, obviously, like I said, this is what you will see is going to be... You're definitely going to see Regitina, and a lot of Season 1 picks are going to be very strong again. Like Articuno, Lapras, you could probably... Like, if I had to guess the lead, here's the lead list. Cresselia, of course. You're still going to see Laprases. You're going to see Articunos. You're going to see maybe Polyrats, maybe Alolan a lot of common ones from before. You can expect the Regitina core to come back. I can definitely see the Regitina core coming back because it's still very strong, especially against Cresselia. If you play the team right and you line Cresselia versus... This is why, because Cresselia versus Registeel. So Cresselia versus Registeel. If you run the sim... There's Cresselia. There's freaking Registeel. Alright. So now we go and run the single battle simulation. Actually, we're going to run a multi-battle. Oh, wait, no, the multi-battle. Single battle versus freaking... There you go. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to do this. See how Registeel still wins? He gets flash cannons off like no tomorrow. And you essentially, even if you had you could just go for Grass Knot. That's your best play. And then Registeel would still kill you. And it has a 100% loss against Registeel in all scenarios. There's like no hope. Even if you did put Future Sight on there, you use the best moveset, watch. No hope. This is why I can see Reggie being used to exclusively counter Cresselia. And Registeel is hard to obtain, so especially against the level 41 one, like, it does a lot of damage. But like I said, it's up to you. Like, the way you build your team, Cresselia is definitely going to be in there, but like I said, watch out for the Regitina. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Here's a little end piece on here's a little summary on the meta that I might see. Here's what you might see in the lead. Obviously, your safe switches like Giratina and Giratina and Alolan Muck. Safe switches from before are still going to be common. Swampert as a closer, Poliwrath as a closer, you're still going to see. We can't truly see the meta until it actually comes out. But this is probably one of the, unless some other people are doing their homework like me or like you see Caleb or anybody else, unless they're all doing their homework, this is what you're going to see right here. It's going to be even Ultra League this time around is a very, very interesting meta, a lot more variety than Season 1 with the inclusions of Shadows and the moveset buffs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got a little bit of information out of it. I hope you learned a little bit from it, and because of it, you're a little more prepared for Ultra League. You guys have a wonderful day. I will see you guys on the next video, and good luck on your rise in Ultra League Go Battle League Season 2.